All right. Got us going a minute early so everybody can find us. Got the volume up here. Hopefully everybody, I noticed last week there was a little bit of, might have to do a webcam or something because the microphone was not picking me up all the time. Okay. And usually it's whenever I'm walking around. So we'll see what happens today. Whenever I go back and watch these, I learn things. Oh, I'm going to find myself over here. So I can, oh, there we go. Right in the beginning. Okay. Awesome. Going a minute early so everybody can find us. Uh-oh. Volume up here. Hopefully I gotta mute that though. You don't need to hear myself in stereo. Okay, here we go. Get a sip of water, wait for everybody to get on. Find me here. We're doing pasta infusions this morning. Should be pretty quick. I say that every week though. Takes me an hour anyway. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay. It is officially 10 a.m. I wish I had brought another cup of coffee in here, but the coffee's cold. So I'll have to well, I'm not gonna heat it up. I'm just gonna make another pot of coffee. It's cold today. I can't believe how cold it is considering how warm it's been this week. But I'm gonna get in the garden later after we're done here. I've got to do a couple of things and then I am going to go to the garden today and work up there and spend some time up there. The chickens have been free ranging a little bit, but the fishing lodge is full, so this weekend, so they won't be able to get out for the weekend. So I'm going to spend some time in the garden. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Pasta Infusions. I think I'm going to do this monthly. Every month we'll just do something that's seasonal and we can infuse pasta. And today's pretty simple. We're doing spinach pasta, and then I'm just rolling it out because I'm making lasagna tonight. So I'm not doing anything fancy. But next month we'll do some fancy. I'll practice doing fancy pasta shapes and we'll do something fun. This has been on my bucket list for a long time to make not only pasta, but to make fancy pastas. Let's see, I don't see any comments or anything yet. Let me come over here. I just wanted to give everybody a chance to get on this morning. I don't see any comments. Okay. I don't know what this little button says. Comment moderation. Every 10 seconds, discussion, restricted, protected. Oh, I don't know what any of that means. Yeah, I don't know. We're not setting any comment moderation. Okay, so let's get started. I feel like I see 3 people on my little live with the little eye next to it. It says 3 people, and it is, what time is it? It is, I don't know. I don't know. I can't see it. 10:02. All right, so for the sake of timing, we're going to get this done. All I'm doing is, if you remember, was it last month or was it in April? It might have been April. We just did pasta. And I've made like ramp pasta, and then we made just regular pasta. So the ramp pasta is on my blog, and then I think I put up just whenever we made just regular pasta. If I haven't, I'll go back and do that. I've been trying to catch up on the blog. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I updated it and I'm so excited by the whole thing. It feels good. I call it the virtual homestead now. So I have the real home, the physical homestead here, and then that's just my virtual homestead. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. Still working out a couple little bugs, but so far so good. Everything seems to be going really well with it. I've been catching up on all my blog posts. I just did ice cream this morning, I think, was published. So if you missed ice cream last week, you can go back and see that. And I'm just going to be spending some time on the blog. I love it. It feels good now. I feel like a real blogger, and I like the look of it. So with all of that said, we're going to record this, and then this will be on the blog as well. But you can also find ramp pasta on there, and then I'll go back and make sure that I did regular pasta. I'm not sure I actually put that on there, so I'll catch up with all of that. So I said all of that to say that I'm using my ramp pasta recipe, and I'm just swapping out, instead of using ramps, we're doing spinach today, and we're going to do this monthly, where we just use a seasonal, whatever's growing seasonally. It could be foraged, it could be, you know, something that we're growing in our yard, it could be something you find at the farm market. So we'll just do this every month, and we'll have fun. And we'll just do, we're going to use the same basic recipe, and then I'll just tell you if there's anything that we're changing up to make it, you know, that we need to substitute. So what we're doing is we're taking 2 cups. You can use all-purpose flour, but if you remember from last month, if you joined me, I bought the King Arthur version of the double aught flour. So I'm going to use that just because I have it, and I like to experiment a little bit. So you need 2 cups of flour. It can be all-purpose. You can also do a mixture of semolina and durum, and all-purpose, which is what I usually use my resources. Let me walk over here. Let me show you this, and this will also be on the blog as well. This is one of my favorite books, and if you know me, or if you don't know me, I don't normally buy books until I've checked them out from the library, either physically or online, like an ebook, and then I go through it and I see how it is, and then I buy it. So this was on my Amazon wish list, and my family got this for me for Christmas, and I love it. It's I also have, oh, let me step over here. Hold on. Hold the phone, people. I totally forgot that I also have, and I think I showed this to you last time as well. I have this mastering pasta. So this is like the down and dirty, nitty gritty, like pasta making book, right? So this is really, really, really technical. Always good to have on hand. This is a really good resource for that. I'll put this on the blog as well. But whenever you just want to know how to kind of infuse your pastas and use different things, which is really where I'm at, where I want to be, this is the book I use. Okay, so I just looked up spinach pasta in here. I'm using my own recipe. The author of this book wants you to use a different recipe that has semolina and durum powder in it, but, or I don't even know if I'm saying that right. We're not doing that. We're using 2 cups of all-purpose, or you can use 2 cups all-purpose. I'm using the King Arthur style double aught flour, and I'm going to put, I'm not good, if you remember, I'm not good at this on the board, so on the cutting board, so we're using a bowl. Use a bowl if you need to. If you want to do it on the cutting board, go for it. I'm not good at that. But practice makes perfect, right? Is anybody here? Hello? Anybody? I know, it's kind of a slow, lazy day today, I think. At least for me it is. Okay, so there's 2 cups of flour, and then what you do is you make a well in the center of it, and this is what you would do on your board. All right, I'm going to show this to you. I'll check my comments over there just in case they're not showing up. See, I'm not sure that there's anything showing up over here either. I have my iPad going. Let's see here. No comments. Okay, that's okay. We're just going to do it. All right. Somebody's having a private show here. I think there's only one person on here. Can you see how I made a well? And so this is where you're going to put your spinach. You're going to put your eggs. You're going to put, I needed to put salt in here first. So I'm going to go back and put salt in, and then I'm going to make this well again. Put your eggs, put your water, put your spinach in there. Okay. So let me come back over here. And I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to put a pinch of salt. And we use kosher salt. You use whatever you have on hand. Let me get my little grubby fingers down in there. I'm going to do a pinch of salt. So we're making lasagna tonight. So I'm just rolling this out using my attachment and to my mixer. And I'm just rolling out sheets because I want to make, my goal would be to make just sheets that fit my pan. So I think I'm going to use a smaller pan. So that's kind of my goal. Okay. So what else do I have here? I have water that I blanched my spinach in that I'm going to use in my pasta dough. So I'm just going to set this over here for the moment though. Let's talk about what we're infusing. So we're doing spinach because you could be growing spinach right now and you're going to find spinach. You'll probably find spinach at farm markets or the grocery store starting in like April. It's one of the first things you'll find, but you can grow spinach throughout the whole growing season. So I chose that just because it's kind of really easy to find and it's a good place for us to start talking about infusing pastas. So I have 2 bags of pasta. Now we're making the pasta. 2 bags of spinach, and I've blanched it. So you put it in boiling water, you let it return to a boil, and you boil it for like a minute. And then you take it out, and you can either plunge it right into ice water, but I just put it into a colander. And then I took the colander and I ran it under cold water. And then I squeezed out some of that water a little bit, because you don't have to squeeze it completely out because you want your pasta to have some liquid in it. So I just left some in. Then, because I forgot to chop off my stems, and this is baby spinach versus full-grown spinach. You really want baby spinach because it's less fibrous for whenever you're making this pasta. So you can use full-grown, like adult spinach, whenever you're doing things like making a stuffing to go into your pasta. But if you're putting the spinach into your pasta dough, you really want baby spinach because it's less fibrous. So you can do one of two things. If you want a chunkier spinach to show up in your pasta, then you would just blanch it, cut those stems off, blanch it, and then you can just chop it from there, and it's going to show up more like my ramp pasta did. So if you go back and see that, then you'll see I didn't puree it. I just chopped it, and it has like these big chunks of ramp in it, and it's really good. But because I forgot to cut the stems off of my spinach, I decided to puree it. Plus, you know, I'm like, instead of doing the same thing every single time, let's try to do something different. So I made the ramp pasta with the big chunks of ramp. So let's see how this goes with making the puree. So it's got some liquid in it, and that's okay, because like I said, you don't want it to be completely dry, because you're going to need water. So that's why I've reserved some of my spinach water. So I just put it over a bowl, and then I dump the whole thing in carefully because it's hot, and then I reserved that liquid, and I put some in a bowl, and then I took and I ran my spinach underneath the cold water, squeezed it out a little bit, and then I pureed it. So we need half a cup of spinach. All right, so I've got my half a cup measurement here, and that's pretty much going to be a big chunk of this. You can add more, you can add less, you know, depending on how you want it to look, okay? And how you want it to taste. I really want it to be green, so I'm going to do the half a cup. You guys doing okay today? I don't know that we have anybody on here. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to put this right in the bottom of, I'm going to put it right in that well, okay? And then I'm going to crack a couple of eggs. They probably should be at room temperature. I'm not sure that they're totally at room temperature. I'm going to set this to the side, although I'm going to put it over here because I'm going to be running my pasta this way. All right, I have a couple of eggs here. I'm just going to crack them in the center. And then I'm going to add, so my recipe calls for 1/3 of a cup of water. I'm not going to put the whole water in here yet, just because the spinach does have some liquid in it, and I want to kind of judge how that's going to go, okay? Okay, 1 egg, 2 eggs. Okay, so let me wipe my hands off a little bit. We're done with that. We're going to set this over to the side. And I'm just going to take this out. I'm going to try to keep everything cleaned up a little bit. I don't have an assistant this week. I said I don't think I need one this week. My friend Diane offered, and I was like, no, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. So let me keep myself cleaned up and organized here, because I'm going to be running this way. Okay. And if you recall from the last time we made this, I'm going to do 1/3 of a cup for my liquid. It makes a really big sheet. So what we're going to do is, I probably should have brought my pan in here. Now that I'm thinking about it, I had plenty of time. I'm going to, I should have brought my pan in here so I can measure it, so then I would know. So we're just going to cut like what I think are the lengths for the pasta. And I'm not going to dry this. I'm going to use this fresh, and I'm going to use it fresh tonight. So I'm feeling pretty good about my liquid content here, but I'm just going to add like half of that. That's 1/3 of a cup measurement, okay? Taking my rings off because we don't want to get those all yucky. You get to get your hands dirty. So you can take a fork and you can start folding it over. I didn't bring a fork in here, so we're just going to use our hands, and we're just going to start kind of folding it over and incorporating it in. I broke the well. See, that's the one thing you want to do is try to keep that well. So otherwise, if you break the well, it goes flying all over the place. Oh, I should have gotten some more flour out. Ah, you learn these things after you're doing them, right? Oh well, it's gonna be messy today. Somebody's getting their own private show, it looks like. Okay, so, oh, this looks so good, you guys. Those eggs, oh, they're turning it this really pretty yellow, just because they're free range eggs. Oh, yummy. Okay, so let me just, this is where I probably could have used an assistant. I'm going to go ahead and dump the rest in there because the one thing, as you know, you can always add more flour, right, to get us to where we need to be if it gets too liquidy. And I actually don't think it's going to be liquidy enough. So you want this to be a pretty firm dough. And we're just going to keep trying to incorporate this in here. I need an assistant. I said, oh, I don't need an assistant. I could have somebody throwing some flour in here on my hands for me. That's all right. I just want to make sure I get all that spinach down in there, right? That's the one thing oh, this is going to be so good, you guys. I can't wait. This, like, it's doing exactly what I was hoping it would do, where it like colors the pasta and it turns it green. Because whenever I did the ramp pasta, because I didn't puree the ramp leaves, it didn't turn it completely green. And I really wanted green pasta. Like that just makes me really excited. So this is going to be really, really green, but it's really, really wet. So give me just a second here. Okay, we're going to carefully do this. No, I'm not going to carefully do this. Okay, so that's all right. Live TV, live Facebook. That's all right. All right, so we're just going to try to take this off like this. This is where you need an assistant. Uh-oh. Okay, guys, I'm just going to have to grab it. I put it on there really tight. Oh my goodness. There we go. Well, so we got some pasta, or yeah, some juicy juice all over the place. All right. Here we go. I should have known. I'm a baker. I know that you are supposed to keep this stuff out, right? I don't know what I was thinking, except for I was just thinking pasta. Let's make pasta. It's very, very wet, so I probably shouldn't have added all that water. I didn't need it. All right, so keep that in mind whenever you're doing this. Don't put your flour up. Keep that in mind too. It's going to be a very sticky situation, huh? See what I did there? Yeah. All right, let's keep going. I'm just adding flour until it firms up. Okay, you want it to be very firm. You don't want it to be wet at all. You remember my pie dough, I like for it to be slightly wet whenever I take it out of the bowl, because then I turn it on the flour on the board to get it just exactly where I want it. You want this to be completely like a firm, not wet dough. Okay, we're just going to keep going with it. I'm making a huge mess. It's okay. That's pretty much how I roll. Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys. Cleanup is going to be fantastic. How are you guys doing? Do I have anybody here? Anybody with me? I don't know. Maybe not. That's okay. As soon as my hands are clean, then I will come over and I'll see if I'm just missing some comments, or if it's like that lilac, whenever I did the lilac syrup and like they never showed up until like after I published it and then I saw all the comments. That could be happening, or maybe nobody's here. That's okay. Because it will live on Facebook and on my blog. So, and in my belly tonight. Okay. We're almost there. It's still kind of wet. I still have some flour in the bottom. I'm just trying to get it off my hands right now. And then once we get it really where we want it to be, nope, I need a little bit more flour. Oh, I got to get it off my hands. Still got like egg on my hands too. All right, that's okay. We're just gonna, I can't get down in the bag because the bag's, all right, there we go. Let me just do it this way too. Sometimes you just kind of rub it off your hands with some flour. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. So this is going to take me a little longer than 30 minutes. I was thinking it would be 30 minutes, but we're at 19 minutes right now. And I imagine by the time that I get this dough in a workable place and then we roll it out, we'll be on here for longer than 30 minutes. I keep trying to go back to 30 minutes. I don't know. How did I used to do these in 30 minutes before? I don't know. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, people. All right. All right, let me take just a second here, get it off of my hands as much as I can, right? I've got a big chunk of egg there. Let's work that in. All right, this is how it goes sometimes. All right. A little more flour. It's just now getting to a workable place. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, so now we're just gonna knead it in the bowl. I just want to get some of that flour worked in throughout. Okay. I still got some stickies on the bottom here. I still got stickies on my hand. Oh my goodness, I made a mess. I feel like we need a redo this morning. Oh goodness. I said, I don't need an assistant. I'll be fine. It's pasta. I've done this before. Oh, note to self. Okay. Let me just roll this off of my hands. I'm going to grab some more flour. Put it right there. It just is still just barely sticky. Okay. So let me tell you, since nobody is chiming in that I can see, saw Mama Bear this week. I was working on the, if you joined me for my craft along, you already know this. Craft along went really well. I was so excited by that. I think that that's going to be a hit. We're doing pin cushions on Tuesday. And it's nice because it's live, but it's like interactive, so I can see who else is on there if they choose to be, you know, to show me. And if they choose to like talk and stuff, then they can. Otherwise, they don't have to. But I love that feature of it. So I saw Mama Bear, and I was going up to the top of the hill to get my dirt from my garden. Okay. Now I'm in the kneading process. Okay. So I'm just gonna continue kneading this and adding a little bit of flour. But I think what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna scrape down the side of the bowl here, and I'm gonna turn it out on the. I'm gonna move this stuff over. I'm gonna move this over. Oh, it's starting to come off my hands too because I'm getting enough flour in there. I don't know what I was thinking, putting the flour away. That was pretty funny. Okay, so I was getting dirt to go in the garden beds, and I was up on the hill, and I was coming back down, and I looked down this little trail, and there was Mama Bear just standing there. And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and she took off one way, and I took off the other way. And then I saw her little cubs behind her, which I obviously knew she had cubs because it's spring and it's cub season, which is why whenever I walk in the woods and I have Anna with me, Anna puts a bell on her. I put a bell on her collar. She doesn't put it on herself. Okay, let's see. I'm done with my water and with my my bowl. So, we're just going to knead this just like we did the last time. We want it to be kind of really smooth and elasticy, okay? And I'm just going to keep trying to work this off of my hands and into the, see, this is why it probably would be good to start with the fork, right? Because then whenever you realize that it's really too wet and you need more flour and you put your flour up and whatever, you don't have messy hands, but live and learn. Okay, so anyway, I put a bell on Anna and she goes up in the woods with me, but I hope that with her having the bell on and running around, and I can carry a whistle with me, that we scare off any mama bears. Okay, what else? Working in the garden today. Did the blog update. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited by that. Spending more time in that space. Took some time to kind of be today. Okay. Or this week, I mean, not today, but this week I took a little bit more downtime. It's funny how I got more things done. Oh, funny how that goes, right? What else? What else? What else? What else? I don't know. This is still a little wet. I probably added way too much water, so a third of a cup. I will make that note in my recipe whenever I put it on, is that a third of a cup of water. If you're leaving your spinach wet like I did, you don't need a third of a cup of water. Okay, I'm just gonna roll it around and incorporate it in some of this flour until we're smooth and elasticy. So The one thing whenever I was reading this book, he did say, or she said, I do that all the time. The author said that if you want to, like, at this point, take your pasta dough and you want to make like raviolis or any sort of stuffed pasta, you actually want it to be slightly sticky. Okay, I don't. I'm gonna roll it out into noodles. So we're gonna make it very much like we did the last time, where we're putting it through that machine, right? So we don't want it to be sticky at all. And yeah, so we're just gonna keep kneading in some of this flour, right? It's getting there, but I can still feel every once in a while whenever I turn it over, it gets a little sticky. Okay, so let me come over. We're almost there. It's not quite as sticky as it was. Well, that was a big, like, that was the biggest, I don't even know what you would call that. Goofing up on, my table feels like it's gonna fall. It really does. I hope it doesn't, because I'm kneading this dough. Okay. Well, that was the biggest flub up I've done on one of these so far, and I'm surprised it took us that long to get to a flub up. Normally, I'm doing things like that all the time, where it's like, oh, why didn't I think to do something different? I guess I got overconfident, where I was like, oh, please, it's pasta. I can do this. Totally, no big deal. I've done this a million times. All right, I'm just being a little softer on my kneading, just because my table is moving an awful lot, and I'm hoping that. Okay. It doesn't. Okay, so this looks good. This feels good to me. I could probably knead it a couple more times, to be honest with you. But for the sake of time, see, there's no stickiness to this. And I'm going to, there's no comments. Okay, that's cool. No problem. No problem. Okay. I could probably go a little bit longer on it just because it says you want it to be like smooth and shiny and elasticy. So we can do that. But you can see like how I've incorporated in everything so far and how it is a green pasta. And what I love about it, let me bring it back over. This is what I love about it. I love rustic, and you can tell that it's homemade. Can you see like there's still like these specks of like big chunks of spinach in there? I love that. So it's green, which I love, and you can tell that it's homemade and that it's, you know, that you've given some love to it, because there's all these little chunks of spinach in there. Okay, so let's throw down a little bit more flour, and let's just keep doing this, because literally as soon as I roll it through a couple of times on here, I'm going to cut it into quarters like I did the last time, and I'm going to run it through, and then as soon as it's rolled out, we're done. That's it. So had I not flubbed this up, we probably would have been able to do this in 30 minutes. And so if you're doing this at home and you want to make your own pasta and you're like, oh, it's going to take me too long, honestly, this is a 30-minute start to finish. But you do your spinach, get it blanched, get it processed and ready to go. And then within, I would say that takes you 10 minutes. This will take you 20 minutes. You're just going to do this. You're going to roll it out. And then if you want to put it into shapes, you're going to do that. If you want to use it as a lasagna noodle, then I'll show you how to do that, because I'm excited. I want to do, the mister doesn't want to do this, but I do. I want to use like a spicy sausage, Italian sausage, in the lasagna tonight. And we have some mushrooms and some onion, and we could do like sausage, mushroom, onion with our spinach pasta dough, lasagna noodles. And then, oh, and then I have homemade mozzarella. So whenever I did the mozzarella, or I did the ricotta, I made mozzarella, and I actually froze a bunch of it. A bunch of the, we used the ricotta. Oh no, we didn't have ricotta, remember? Ricotta didn't turn out. So I froze the mozzarella. Okay. This is good. All right. I'm gonna use my knife. I'm gonna cut it into quarters. And if you recall, we're gonna put flour on our noodles before we go through the roller here, okay? So let me just, this isn't very wet anymore, but my hands are green. Okay. I got a little bit of flour here. Do this, nobody, okay. All right, that's cool. All right, so we always start on 1 because that's the largest hole, and then we go from there. All right, let me move some of this stuff out of the way here, just because I feel like I'm gonna have to kind of do it like that to get it to come over here. Oh, I have a pen underneath here. All right. I was making myself notes, but I wasn't making myself a note on how to have an assistant whenever you don't have an assistant, huh? Okay, here we go. And if you recall, I do this through twice on each one until the thickness that you want. And that's very sticky, so I'm going to just give it another little pat of flour here. All right. I like to just keep kind of flour on here, so then you can just pat it right on there, or whenever it comes off on the table. All right. So then you just run it through whatever thickness you want, right? So for lasagna noodles, you're probably going to keep it kind of thick. You don't want it to be terribly thick. So that was twice on 1. And I feel good about the flour right now, so I'm just going to keep going with it. Tearing a little bit, that's okay. Because what you can do now, I think I've dashed my dreams here of having it be big enough to go on to have just 1 needle per layer. That's okay, we're going to keep going. Let's get, there's 3. I'm not going to go much, yeah, this is good for me. This is actually kind of thin. I'm going to leave it there, all right? So that was 1. I'm going to go back to 2 on this one. I think we were on 2. I think I just ran it once. I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave it on 2. 2 is good for me. Like, I don't think I want it to be any, I'm just going to ball that back up. I don't think I want it to be any thinner than that. Okay? So I could probably, maybe I'll need these a little bit more, just real quick. We're almost done. That's it. I mean, that's all we're doing. That's it. So it's a down and dirty one today, literally. Got myself really dirty. I didn't knead this out as much as I should have. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep kneading these, and then I'm just going to run them through. You're welcome to join me. You know, I'll stay on here for another couple of minutes, but that's pretty much it. You're just pureeing, you're blanching and pureeing your spinach. You could change that out for any sort of green. I'm trying to think, like ramps or whatever you think would be good in that. What else do we have growing? Lettuce, you know, obviously wouldn't. I was just thinking like arugula maybe would be good. You could do like a roasted red pepper as well, kind of thing. You just want to keep it. You just want to keep it wet. So your roasted red pepper is going to have a lot of juice in it, right? So you're not going to need to add as much water to it. So just make sure you're keeping that liquid content in ratio to what, because obviously I added 1/3 cup of water because I was like, oh, it needs it. And it was like, no, I should have added it because I started out at not adding the full thing. And I was like, oh no, I think it needs it. And then as soon as I did, I was like, oh, this is too much. It's too wet, which is why I'm having trouble with it right now. So just watch your water content. You can take, like you can get a jar of roasted red peppers or you can roast your own. But take roasted red peppers and puree them and then just add them in like 1/2 cup. Same thing, you're gonna get a red pasta. All right, let's see where we're at here. But that's it, easy peasy. Oh, I started on 2. Forgot to set it back over. Shoot. Oh my gosh, you guys, I don't know what's going on with me today. And look at my pasta, it's just falling apart. This is what happens sometimes. All right. That's okay. That's okay. I'm just gonna cut it off right there. I'm going to turn this back to 1. I'm going to get some more flour. Boy, I really flubbed this up today, guys. Holy moly, I flubbed it up. That's all right. So we'll call this the spinach pasta or what not to do, right? All right. Here we go. That's better. Okay. Well, we left some of it up here. That's all right. We're going to put it in the pile of, do it again. Do it again. I was really hoping for really big. You know what I probably should have done too, since I wanted to have bigger lasagna noodles, and maybe I'll do it there. Let's see what happens. I'm going to combine those two back together and run them through and see if I don't get a bigger. I know the more I roll it out, the bigger it's going to get, but I don't want my lasagna noodles to be really thin. All right. Let's run it through one more time on 2. I think I ran it on 2, then I ran it on 1, and now I'm running it back on 2. Okay. So it's going to have a little bit of holes in it. That's okay. So let's turn this off. Let's just experiment a little bit because we got, nobody's telling me not to. Nobody's saying we got to run. I don't even know if anybody's on here. It's all right. That's A-okay. All right, so I'm just going to knead this back together a little bit, and then I'm going to run it through and see what happens, all right? I want to keep kneading in some of that. I've noticed that the inside is actually still kind of sticky whenever I'm kneading it, and I think that's part of the problem, is that I just didn't give it the love it needed. For the sake of time, I think I was just kind of like, oh, maybe everybody's kind of tired of the hour-long sessions, or everybody's just busy. Everybody's just busy, I guess. Things are starting to open back up and that kind of thing. So, but we'll keep doing them. I'm starting to make July's schedule. So if there's something you want to see, then just let me know. I'm going to keep doing these. I'll go through July and then we'll see where we get to. I actually don't want to put these on top of each other just because of how sticky they are. Let me just flip that over. Oops. So we're going to have some funny looking lasagna noodles. It's okay. Okay. So I didn't get this anywhere near where it needed to be. You want it to be elasticy. It doesn't want to be wet at all. And it's going to be shiny. So I never got it there just for the sake of time. It's okay. So I probably should have done what I did last week where, if you remember, if you joined me for ice cream, I had a bunch of stuff already prepared. I should have just had the dough prepared already. But how was I to know I was going to completely flow it up on live TV? I don't know. Can't predict those things. Okay. You just keep kneading this stuff, right? You just keep putting your hand into it like it's bread. It wants to be worked. It wants to be elasticy. It wants to be smooth. Then you won't. I can tell by looking at it. It's not where it needs to be, and it's not just because I added the spinach into it. Like let's take a look at. Let's examine some noodles here. Okay, this is how I know. See how it's all like it ripped and it's all like bubbly and wrinkly and stuff. I don't know if you can see all that. It doesn't want to do that. It wants to, whenever you have your pasta dough and it's elasticy and it's smooth, you're not going to get all this bubbling up and stuff, right? You're just going to get a nice smooth product. I actually might just redo these. Okay, so we're going to pretend like I'm going to redo those later, I think. Tonight, maybe. I didn't let the dough rest either. You probably want it to rest a little bit once you're done with it. Give it a little rest. But you don't have to. We didn't the last time whenever we made it, and it was fine. It's just the kneading part of it wants to be really smooth and elasticy. Okay? I'm afraid my table's going to fall though. Oh goodness. I need one of those big stainless steel tables, but this is my little crafting table. So it goes like right where the computer is, where you guys are watching me from. That's where my crafting table usually lives. I could use one of those really big stainless steel tables. Oh, that would be so nice to do all these with, whenever I'm doing these demos and stuff. Oh, that'd be so nice. Okay. I think we're almost there. So yeah, I think we'll name this What Not to Do. Watch the video to find out what you don't do. How you guys doing? Doing okay? Anybody here? Am I just missing like comments and stuff? Like there's no comments showing up anywhere. So that's all right. No, but you guys don't have to comment. I just kind of wonder sometimes like what goes on with these comments and stuff. Okay. Should we give it a shot? Let's try it, see what happens, okay? I want big noodles, right? I like big noodles for my lasagna. I'm just going to put a little bit of flour on the outside. I'm going to set this back to 1. Turn it on. We got it on like a 2. Give a little left tapping. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, it's still not where it needs to be. I can tell because it's all wrinkly. I don't know what that would be called, but it's like wrinkly. It really is. Okay. And it's sticking. But what I have is the kind of noodle I was looking for. Let me just put some flour on it, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And then we're close to where I want to be. We're closer than we were. Okay. So I'm thinking my pan might be a little bigger than this, a little wider than this, but that's kind of what I was hoping for, was something that looks like that. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful people. Okay, I'm going to go with the 2. I don't actually think I want it to. I actually think I want it to be thick like this. So let's experiment with this other one because I've got plenty of dough to redo. Let's experiment with this one. Let's run this back through. Let's run this back through a 1, and then I'm going to run it through a 2. I'm pretty sure I just want to keep it on 1. All right. You always just want to make sure you have flour on it. Now, if I had done this properly, if you remember from the last time that we made pasta, you actually don't need a ton of flour to run it through, just because it should be in the right. I'm gonna pull this back over on itself. It should be in the right condition to run through, but if it is a little sticky, you just don't want it to stick to your maker. Oh, look at that. This is more of what I was hoping for. I mean, it's wonky looking, but it actually looks really good. It's really pretty. It's starting to look elasticy, and it's looking smooth. Some of it's still not 100% smooth, but that's okay. I'm just going to knead out that other one a little bit more whenever I'm done here for dinner tonight. And now I'm running it through on a 2. It doesn't feel too bad. There's your pasta. There's your pasta. And from here, obviously, you could, so this isn't going to be as wide because I folded it back on itself. But that's it. That's what I'm doing. So I think I actually like the 2. So let's do that. Let's run this one through one more time and on a 2, and then we'll be done. Okay? I appreciate you guys hanging in there and watching the What Not to Do show this morning. Okay, I got it on a 2. I'm going to run it through. I kind of like that. I cut it a little bit whenever I cut that other piece, but that's okay. We're not going for perfection here, obviously. Okay, that's it. I'm actually going to cut it right where it is. There we go. That's it. That looks really good. I like it. Okay, so all I'm going to do other than cleaning up here is I'm going to take this and I'm going to knead it some more and get it elasticy, and I'm going to run it through on 1 twice and then 2 maybe once. And then that's it. We're all done. And then we're going to make lasagna tonight, and I will put a picture up of the lasagna later, probably tomorrow or the next day. Okay? That's it. Thank you guys for hanging in there. I consider this Chicken Librarian Makes What Not to Do. Okay? But we fixed it. So I hope you guys are having a good week. Have a good weekend. And I'll see you next time.